Is it all over for teachers in China? That's going to be the topic of today's video. So if you're an expat or a high net wealth individual, go over to adamfire.com and see how I can help you. Now, many of my clients, well, not many, but quite a few of my clients are in China. Some people watching this know I spent 4.5 years in China, and going back, say 5 years before I was doing things online, many of my expat friends lived in China and quite a few of my clients did as well. And I still have those. So I'm very familiar still with the situation in China, even though I haven't lived in China for some years now. And what's interesting is the Chinese government now have cracked down on the education sector. So basically a lot of after school activities will be banned unless it's done on a not-for-profit basis. And even when it comes to international schools, they're cracking down. So the question is it all over for teachers in China? Now, I'm not an educationalist. I can't know for sure. But my hunch is this, that over time it's going to get more difficult. In other words, there's always going to be niches out there. So for example, now the Chinese government have cracked down on education for children. Adults will not be affected. And for that matter, there'll still be many kind of black market ways of doing this because people are obsessed with education in China just like they are in Singapore and many other Asian countries. So, a lot of people are going to, or a lot of wealthier people at least, might kind of pay teachers on the side, for extra classes, and they'll try to find their ways around it. And that will bring opportunities for teachers in China. However, my sense is this. The industry, both for expats and locals, has got bigger and bigger and bigger. And the whole kind of edtech, education technology sector has got bigger and bigger. There are literally hundreds of thousands of people apparently working on Chinese education software outside of China. So people in the US, UK, whatever, they're maths teachers, they're English teachers or whatever, they work on that kind of software. So I think it's going to get harder for expats or people who are relying on the Chinese market. Having said that, I do think there'll still be niches, like for example, international schools. In 10 years' time, there's probably still going to be an American international school of Shanghai. They might crack down on who can actually join those schools. It might be only expat kids or one of the parents has to be an expat, but I'm sure it will still exist with foreign teachers. But I think they're going to really crack down on this. So teachers in China, what I would do if I was in their shoes is, number one, I would diversify my risk. I would look at platforms outside of China. I would look at international platforms, like for example, before when I've been taking languages, for example, I would look at things like Itakali or however you pronounce it. When I was learning, that's what I used. And even now I use that sometimes if I want to brush up on some of my languages that I know as a student. So maybe look at some of those things. Also, I would look getting money out of China. Now, I've wrote articles about this, I've done videos about this before. It's always changing, and I'm going to do an article soon or a video talking about how to get money out of China using UnionPay. However, what's interesting is a lot of people reach out to me saying, oh, I got stuck after COVID and now I can't get money out of China, I can't go back, I can't go into the branch, how can I do this? One thing I would say is, if you're in education now, I would get the majority of your money out of China to a foreign bank account, or if you've got investments and you want to fund your investment account, fund it as soon as possible, because you never know when this kind of thing can change, because most expats in China are on a rolling 1-year kind of work visa. And it's true to say that many companies are maybe saying now, well, let's wait and see. But you know what? Some people will have to leave China. So I'll get your money out of China now if you can. How can I help you? In 2 ways. First of all, are you an expat, a high net wealth individual, or just somebody who lives in a part of the world where it's difficult to get access to quality investment solutions? In which case, go onto my website on adamfire.com and find out more. If you don't fit into any of those categories, then in which case there's a range of free material on my website, on this YouTube channel, and indeed on my Quora, where I get over 200 or have received over 231 million views in the last few years. And finally, if you want to actually read my thoughts in more detail, go onto Amazon and find my book on there.